These are 12-inch latex balloons. These are the type of balloons that you would need to make a balloon bouquet. So you choose the color of your liking. I like to match whatever the topper is that I'll be using for that balloon order. And we're going to do a Hello Kitty. So we have to have the colors that match Hello Kitty on the base. So that's we have 4 red, 4 pink, 12-inch, and 4 green, 12-inch, because we have to match the tree. So we're gonna blow these up. Probably just gonna do 2 layers this time. So we'll mix these colors up with just 2 rows. So we'll do here. Want to have mostly pink. Okay. So we will do away with these. So for this, we're only going to use these 2 rows. Just going to do 2 rows. And your first row should always be 8-inch. Your 8-inch size. And then your second row is going to be your 7-inch size. And that just helps with making sure that the balloons nestle inside of each other tightly. So you want to stick with 8s, 7s in that range, or sometimes you can go down to 6, but I like to do 7 and 8s. 8 on the bottom, 7 on the top. Depending on the size of your topper, you can go bigger, or you can stack more. You can do 1, 2, 3 stacks. All right, so I'm just gonna blow these up. So you want to put your balloon, the necks of the balloons. You want to use both balloon nozzles at the same time on your electric pump. If you're doing a hand pump, you'll only be able to do 1 at a time. If you have this, great. You can still blow the balloons up, but it's just going to take you a little bit longer. But my favorite is to do electric pumps because it's way faster. So you're going to put both necks on the balloon pump like this. And you're going to push them down as far as possible and try to push them inside into the biggest part of the balloon. And that helps with rounding the balloons out so you don't get that light bulb shape. So we're just going to blow these up. See? So you get their nice round shape. I'll show you what not to do and how not to blow your balloons up to the point where there's too much air in them. So this light bulb shape here, that's what you don't want. You don't want it to blow up to the point where you have a light bulb shape, because when you're doing a balloon bouquet, you want them to nestle into each other. So you want them to be as round as possible. And we're going to blow them up. So they're round. Push down. So this is another reason why we use the balloon sizer, to make sure that our balloons are round and the right shape and the right size. So we're going for 8s. And you want to push in while letting some air until the balloon pops through the balloon sizer. So when it pops through the other side, then you'll know that it has went down, deflated down to 8. Let me switch my hands. And I'm going to do the same thing. Push in, letting some air out. Until the balloon goes all the way through the circle, the hole of the balloon sizer. So now you have 2 perfectly round shaped balloons. So now we're going to twist them. We're going to tie these 2 together. And you want to cross your arms. And you want to hold the 2 necks apart from each other. And then you want to take one hand and you want to twist it around one of the balloons. So 1, and you're going to twist it twice. That was 1. This is 2. Okay. So when you get to that second one, make sure that they're both back at the top. Then you want to tie them together. Okay. This way. I'm going to tie and pull. Tie and pull. Okay. So this is your first 2. This is called a duplet. When there are 2 balloons together, that's a duplet. So you tie them together. They're sturdy, they don't move. So then we're going to do another one, same size, 8. And then once we blow these up, we're going to tie these 2 together. And that's going to be called your quad. Same. So even if you blow them up with a whole bunch of air, see how hard this is? You don't want them to be that hard because that's the risk of them popping. So you don't want them to be this size. You want to size them down to 8 to make sure that we have enough air, but then we don't need a lot of air to make them softer where we can maneuver better. So some of the air. Switching my hand. There. Pushing through. Two rounded shape balloons. And you can push down on the table, you can push down on your chest to just get that extra, just slightly push down just to make sure that you get that extra round shape. Twisting. I'm going to twist twice around one balloon. 1, 2, tying them together. Okay, now we're going to take these 2 and we're going to twist them together. And it's going to make 4 balloons. This is your quad. So we're going to take this, we're going to twist them into each other. So we're twisting into each other. Twisting into each other. So then we're going to take these 2 balloons here, 1, 2, and we're going to twist them around each other 3 times. So as we push down, we're going to twist. 1. Use your fingers to maneuver around. 2. So I have one hand back here, I have one hand in the front. Using my finger, using my thumb to push one in front of the other. Okay. If we're going to use different colors, you want to make sure that the color that has 2 in the design is sitting across from each other. So you don't want them to be sitting like this. You don't want that. You want them to be sitting across from each other, because when they sit down flat, we want them to be sitting across. Okay. And another way to check to make sure that the balloons are not going anywhere, take it, shake it, they're good, not going anywhere. So now we're gonna make our 7s. 7-inch. Same process. Pushing down. In. 7. Pushing my hand, and while I'm blowing up this one, my thumb and my index finger is holding the air in on this one. Round it. Double checking. Round. Twist our hands. Crossing our hands, sorry. We're going to cross our hands, and we're going to go around this balloon twice. 1, 2. Tying at the neck. Pulling outward. Always say you pull north-south. Twist it. No, it's not going anywhere. Pushing down. Sometimes you gotta be a little more forceful to get them down there. Noise, that you're letting out air properly. 2. Crossing our hands. Twice. 1, 2. Two foots, tie them into a quad. We are going to push down, pushing down, one on top of the other, pushing down. And we're taking the glue, one hand on the back, one hand on the front, and we're going to twist these two using this hand. This around this one. 1, 2, 3. Colors across. So if you ever wrap them and the colors don't line up properly, you can put them down, and you can take one color and put them across from each other. So this one needs to be over here. So you're going to take this one, push that one over, and slide it over. Balloons are very universal, so as long as they're squishy, they still have air, but squishy. That's why we use the sizer, to make sure that we take some air out of the balloon so that we can be able to maneuver them and move them around as we need to. So, test, not going anywhere. So now we're going to build the bouquet. We're going to need our 260 balloon. 260 is the long, stretchy balloon that's mostly used for balloon artists that makes animals. They make balloon animals, dogs, you know, things of that nature. This is what they use to make those. But I use them to build my bouquets and to use them into my garlands to make the balloons tighter and make them sit closer to each other. So we're going to use our balloon pump, and we're going to blow up our Hello Kitty balloon. Isn't she so cute? So we're going to find on all foil balloons, this is the foil balloon. Majority of the foil balloons comes in 18 inches, and other ones, they come in bigger. They're larger characters, then they come in bigger sizes. All foil balloons have a valve. So you have to find the valve. Sometimes they're on the side, sometimes they're on the bottom, sometimes they're on the opposite side, and sometimes they're on the top for whatever reason. But you find the valve, and the valve is always color-coded. They try to color-code them anyway to try to help you navigate and find the airway of the balloon. So this one has a blue one, and you can see the valve. So it's a circle and a blue valve. So the blue valve underneath, you always go underneath the valve. Sometimes they're clear, so you can use your nail like I have, or you can use like a balloon stick, a pencil, the opposite end, not the sharp end, just to open up that valve. Or you can use the nozzle of the balloon pump. That's why, that's one of the reasons why it has a sharp edge. It's not sharp to the point where it'll poke through the balloons, but it's a pointy edge so that it'll be able to get up under the valve. So we're going to blow this up. So we're using the valve, we're using the pump, and we're going underneath the valve, and you can see it. It's pierced through the balloon. The majority of the foil balloons are self-sealing balloons, so once you put air in it, the air stays in there and it seals itself. So we're going to use our pump. While you're pumping, you're going to hold the valve with your hand and try to hold it as tight as possible so that it doesn't pop off of the balloon pump. And you want to make sure that it gets all the air that it's supposed to get. No air. You don't want any air to come out. So you're going to push in and out, in and out. Push test to make sure, because you don't want your balloon to be super hard. You don't want it to be super soft to the point where there's no air in it, where it doesn't sit up on its own. So always do a push test to make sure that it's not super duper hard, because if it's super hard, if you blow it up in the house, when you take it outside, the balloon is going outside air makes the balloons expand. So if you put too much air in it and when you take it outside, it's going to pop. So you want to make sure that there's a little bit of room left, so when the balloon does expand, it has room to expand. So we're good here. Stop pumping this one. And we're going to take this balloon. So for your balloon bouquets, you want your balloon to sit up on top of the quad balloons that we just made. So you want it to sit upright. In order for it to do that, you have to tie this into your balloon quad. So in order to tie it into your balloon quad, you got to have something to tie with. So that's where our 260 comes in at. So we're going to put it flat, lay it flat over this flap, and you're going to fold this. Well, let's start down here. You're going to fold the flap over the 260, and you're going to fold, keep folding up, rolling. So you're basically rolling it up so you get to the end of this portion of your foil balloon. So this is what it looks like. So it's rolled. So you're going to take one end, using your middle finger or whatever finger you want to push up against the balloon to make sure that roll stays in place, and then you're going to tie the 260 into a knot. So we're going to tie it one more time. Tie it twice to make sure that it's secure and that the balloon does not go anywhere. Excuse me. So when it's time to put the balloon on the balloon quads, this is what we're going to use to tie it into. We're going to use this to tie it into the bouquet. So now we're going to tie our balloons, our quads together so that we can build our bouquet. So we're going to take our 8-inch balloon, our 8-inch set, making sure that the two colors are across from each other. And we're going to lay it flat on a surface. Make sure that it's a smooth surface, nothing sharp, no edges to sharp edges, nothing sharp underneath it. We don't want anything to cause your balloons to pop. So, smooth surface, balloon quad down, and we're going to take our 260 balloon and we're going to tie it into this quad so that we'll be able to use it to wrap our next row of balloons on top. So we're going to take our 260 and we're going to tie it into this set. So we're going to hold one end down and we're going to wrap it around two balloons. And then we're going to tie that balloon in there. It's okay for your balloons to keep moving, so just use your arms to hold them down. Once you put another set of balloons on top, then they won't move. And then also once I put the water weight at the bottom, they won't move. So we're going to take it and then we're tying this into a knot. And we're going to do it again, twice. Make sure that it's extra secure. And we tied it into a knot. So now we have like a rope that we're going to use to be able to tie the next row of balloons into it. Before we do our next set of balloons, we're going to flip this over and we're going to put our water weight on. The water weight helps the balloon from moving around, so once your bouquet is built, you want to put a water weight so that if it's standing on top of a table, if it's sitting on the floor or anything, you don't want it to be flying around. So see how light the balloons are? We want to weigh the balloons down so that they don't move. So however we put it, we want it to stay that way. So said, we're going to flip this over. We're flipping it over, and we're going to put our water weight right here. Flipping it, using your hand to hold your balloons down to make sure that they stay flat. And you want to use a water weight. Water weight is basically another 12-inch balloon with water in it. You want to put water in it, tie it in a knot. When you put water in it, make sure that all of the air is out of it, and then you want to tie it in a knot. So you want to lay it. It's going to go upside down into the middle of your balloons. It's going to sit right in the middle. So just make sure that your sizing of your balloons, water balloons, should be the size of the palm of your hand. So you want to drop it in, make sure that it fits, and we fit great. So the neck of your balloon, of your water weight, we're going to use this part of the balloon to tie it into this row of balloons, which is our quad. So we're taking it, we're going to use this, and we're going to tie it down, and we're going to wrap it around 2 balloons, and then we're going to bring it back up and then tie it in. So here, in between, it's going around this balloon and this balloon. And then we're back up. And to secure it, you want to look for one of the necks of your quad balloons, and usually they'll be sticking up, so you'll know which one is the longest. So you're going to use one of the necks of your balloon, and you're going to tie them together twice. Make sure they're secure. Down. And it's in there. It's not going anywhere. So now we do the weight test. We'll flip it back over because this should always be on the bottom. You want to, if it's a paying client, of course, you want your balloons to match. So you want it to be one of the colors on the bottom so that it'll blend in. But for the sake of this video, we're just using a yellow one. Okay, so we're flipping over, and we're going to do the weight test. So very solid. Weight it down. So when you're putting this on the table or something, the balloon, your bouquet won't move. So now we're going to put our second row of balloons, and these are our 7-inch. So this is 8-inch, and these are 7-inch balloons. So these are the quads. And again, you remember, you want your same colors to be across from each other. So you want to cross from each other, and you want to lay them on top of your first row. So you don't want them to be sitting on top of each other like this, because you see how much space is in between, and you can see in between your balloons. You don't want that. So you want to make it fit like a Lego, basically, and you want to turn your top set of balloons. You want to turn them so that the balloons will sit nestled, so they'll sit inside of each other. So you see the difference? There's no space, versus if you do it this way, you have space. You don't want that. So we want to turn our balloons this way. And it all depends on your color combinations, if you want them to match, or if you want them to be across from each other. That way you can be the judge of that, of how you want your balloons to lay in, which colors you want to be in coordination with each other. So we could always flip it. I think I like that. So we don't want it this way. We're going to twist it, and it's going to sit inside. We're we're going to find our 260 balloon. Remember that long balloon? So we're going to find that, and that's just sitting underneath here. So you're going to use your one hand to hold the balloons down in place, and you're going to use your other hand to locate that 260 balloon, and then you're going to wrap it around in a figure 8 to secure the balloons on top of each other. So we're going to pull down as much as possible because we don't want to tie it. We don't want to tie it all the way up here. We want to pull because it's very stretchy. So we want to pull down. The more, if you tie it up here, the looser your bouquet is going to be. So you want to bring it, use the bottom part as much as possible. So we're going to go in between the two balloons at the top. We're going to go down to the bottom balloon, and we're going to wrap around that balloon. Switching my hand so you can see. Between these two, and then we're going to wrap it around this one. Back in between those two, and then you want to wrap it around this one to secure it in place. So depending on how many layers, how many rows you do, so you do 1, 2, 3, 4, if you keep going, then you would just keep going and using the top of till you get to the top of your 260. But for the sake of this video, we're only doing 2 rows, so we're pretty much done here. So to seal the deal, as I like to call it, I'll wrap it around the opposite balloon on that row to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And I'll wrap it around twice. So because this is so stretchy, to get rid of this so that it is not sitting in the way or sitting on top of the balloons that people will see it, if you pull it up and just snap it, if you pull it up and let it go, it'll snap down and you won't see it anymore. It's gone. But if you need to find it, it's under the bottom. So you can always go under here, pull it back up. You need to pull it back up. But we're going to snap it in. And this is our second row of balloons. Shape test, not going anywhere. Drop test, not going anywhere. So the final part is we're going to put our foil balloon, our Hello Kitty balloon on top, and we're going to tie her in, and then we'll be done. Adjust the camera. Here's Hello Kitty. So for Hello Kitty, we're going to use our 2 ends. Remember our 2 ends that we used, that we twisted, rolled into the balloon. We're going to use these 2 ends to tie into our base. This is what we called our base. This is what we call the topper. So we're going to take each end, and we're going to pull in between one side and pull in between the other side. And for this one, we're going to pull all the way down, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to tie the balloon down here. So this is one way of doing it. You can tie a knot, and then we tie it twice. To secure the balloon, I'm going to let them go. And there you go. So here is your Hello kitty, a balloon bouquet. Sitting tight. And this is why we want this to sit tight on top. So we stretch it all the way down to the bottom of your balloon to make sure that it sits tightly on the top row of your base. If you don't want to tie it in a knot like that, you can take both ends and you can pull it around, and then you can wrap one around this balloon, wrap one around this balloon, and you can wrap it twice, and then you can just let them go and they'll sit the same way as well. So whatever your preference, you can do it either way. Let me move this camera up so you can see. So most foil balloons, if they are a character balloon or something in nature, they'll have the same picture on each side. Some of them may have just one picture on one side, so just make sure that you are designing your balloon on the side that the image is on. Or if it's a play foil balloon, it doesn't matter then. You can just use either side. It works. So here you go. Here's your balloon bouquet. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate the opportunity. Again, my name is Crystal Hundley. My name is Crystal Hundley with Creative Clusters, and I just wanted to jump on and record and show you guys how I make my balloon bouquets. These are my favorite to make, especially when there's characters involved. These are what I like to do, and thank you so much. Have a good one.